Look, if you're a student pulling all-nighters, an entrepreneur burning the candle at both ends, or honestly just someone trying to survive the daily grind, you know exactly what modern burnout feels like. We all desperately seek peace and silence. But let's be real, usually we just end up finding more frustration. Well, today we're unpacking a radically different approach to finding inner silence. And trust me, it might just challenge literally everything you thought you knew about handling stress.
We're just constantly overwhelmed, right? The emails, the notifications, the endless pressure to succeed. But what if everything you've ever been taught about finding focus and peace is actually completely wrong for the modern brain? I mean, have you ever tried to just sit in a quiet room, cross your legs, close your eyes, and clear your mind? What actually happens? Your brain absolutely explodes with 1,000 thoughts. Your anxiety actually spikes. So why is it that trying to sit still only makes us feel more crazy?
Let's get right into it. Section 1. The modern mind is chaos.
The source material we're analyzing today points out a massive, fundamental flaw in how we approach mindfulness. Basically, we're trying to run ancient passive software on a highly overloaded 21st century hard drive. And guess what? It crashes. The text argues that our brains have completely dominated our hearts, pushing down our natural emotions until we are, well, basically sitting on a psychological volcano. We just shove our stress deep down inside just to remain functional in society. We're acting so unnaturally just to survive in this highly competitive world, right? We've moved completely away from our roots. And honestly, this sets the stage for a pretty painful realization about traditional meditation. If you just try to sit still right now, you aren't actually finding peace. You're really just forcing inactivity over a boiling pot of stress. Suddenly, you become acutely aware of your own inner insanity. And man, that is terrifying. Which brings us to Section 2, Why Sitting Still Fails.
From the time we're little kids, society tells us to concentrate, right? Narrow your attention, get focused. But the sources we're looking at draw a massive line in the sand here. Concentration forces you to rigidly exclude the outside world, which just creates internal conflict. It's exhausting, utilitarian work. But true meditation? The sources describe that as expanding, effortless, and festive. When you concentrate, you're fighting your environment. But when you meditate, you're embracing it. Think about it like this. If you hear a crow outside while you're trying to concentrate on a book, that crow becomes a super frustrating distraction, right? You get annoyed. But meditation, it actually accepts that crow as a beautiful part of the total present moment. As the text suggests, if God wants to sing through a bird outside your window, let the sky enter from all doors. You drop the boundaries. You become completely effortless. But of course, the big question is, how do we actually get to that effortless state when our minds are so completely full of garbage?
And that leads us to Section 3, the power of cathartic release.
You see, you literally cannot put fresh, clean water into a glass that's already full of mud. You have to empty it out first. The text boldly states, I cannot create heaven for you. All my meditation techniques are designed to create hell first. Think about that. It's a total paradigm shift. You cannot find real silence until you vigorously release all your repressed anger, anxiety, and trauma. You have to let that volcano erupt in a safe space. This is the revolutionary idea behind active meditation. So, the primary technique described here involves some really intense, physically chaotic steps. First up, deep chaotic breathing to just hammer your internal system and wake up your dormant energy. Second, total cathartic shaking or dancing, literally letting the body do whatever it wants to physically release the madness. Third, silent witnessing, where you just observe the energy you've unleashed. And finally, frozen inactivity. By engaging in these intense physical steps first, you completely exhaust that over-analytical utilitarian mind, allowing absolute true stillness to naturally take over. Because you see, meditation starts with catharsis and ends with celebration. Once you break those deeply ingrained patterns and clear out the inner clouds through screaming, deep breathing, or dancing, the storm finally passes. The sky clears. And when it does, you unlock a profound, totally life-changing inner map. And let me tell you, that map is breathtaking. Let's explore that in Section 4, Transcending the 7 Bodies. The texts we're unpacking don't just stop at basic psychology. No, they map out the very architecture of human consciousness into 7 distinct layers. Starting from the solid physical body, you move up to the etheric body, which is where our anger and fear reside. Then you move through the astral, the mental, and the spiritual bodies, which is where the ego hits its peak. Finally, you reach the cosmic body, where the ego entirely dissolves, leading to the nirvanic body,
a state of absolute peaceful nothingness.
This is literally the ultimate adventure of the inner space. As you transcend these layers, moving away from the fear and hate trapped in that etheric body, and moving up toward love and compassion, you undergo a profound personal transformation. You stop being a victim of your wild emotions, and you start becoming an explorer of your own infinite potential.
Moving right along to Section 5, Total Acceptance and Tantra. Now, if you do all this incredibly deep inner work, but you still absolutely hate your life on a random Tuesday morning, then what's the point, right? This brings us to a highly misunderstood concept. The text redefines Tantra. Now, it's not a sexual practice, which is totally how pop culture usually treats it, but rather, it's about total acceptance. It means living completely without the rigid dichotomy of good versus bad, and simply stopping the endless war against yourself.
By dropping the arbitrary boundaries between what you deem acceptable and unacceptable inside of yourself, you just stop fighting. You stop pretending to be something you're not. You begin to act from a place of pure, sensitive awareness. It's called action out of nothingness. You aren't acting out of a desperate desire for a reward or some deep fear of punishment. You are just effortlessly flowing with existence.
And that brings us to our final core concept, Section 6, Make Life a Celebration.
This philosophy is incredibly practical for your day-to-day life, with the ultimate goal being to turn your stressful, grinded-out existence into a massive, joyful celebration. Seriously, we have become so businesslike that even when we play a game with friends, we only care about winning. We entirely miss the festive dimension of life itself. Yes, survival is necessary, absolutely, but survival is not life. We desperately need to reclaim our capacity to actually enjoy everything that comes to us, moment to moment.
So, how do you apply this today? Well, you must completely de-automatize your routine habits. Transform simple, everyday acts into a deeply aware, almost cinematic meditation. Walk slowly, look watchfully, listen attentively. When you eat, actually taste the food, When you speak to a friend, actually listen to them. Stop rushing to the next moment because honestly, the next moment is just going to be another moment you rush through. The text actually suggests this brilliant, highly practical technique that you can use right now. Call your own name out loud in the middle of the day. Seriously, if your name is John, suddenly say, "John, are you here?" And then answer yourself, "Yes." It instantly pulls your wandering, anxious mind back from stressing about the future, back from regretting the past, and it slams you right into the pure, electric present moment. So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to carry into your day. When you are walking, or working, or talking to someone you love, are you actually here? Are you truly present? This explainer was designed to wake you up to the massive potential inside of you. If this radical approach to inner silence sparked something in you, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into life-changing source material, and comment down below what is one routine in your life that you are going to de-automatize today. Stay focused, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.